Hello, I'm back with SB9. I did a video yesterday after I removed all the parts from this frame, and it just showed how dirty this bike was. It was incredibly filthy. It still is. All the parts as well just have years and years of dirt, built up dirt, layer on layer of dirt. You could clean if all the parts were left on the bike. But there's so many areas that just couldn't be cleaned well without taking the parts off the bike. So also all the grease in the headset, the bottom bracket, you could tell the grease had gone off, it had gone hard because they weren't spinning very smoothly. So those parts would have to come out anyway to clean up those bearing cells and put new grease in. So I decided to take SB9 apart to give it a really good clean. What I'm not going to do is repair any damage on this. It has very little damage on anyway, but there are some sections of transfer that are damaged, so they'll stay like that because that's how this bike is. I'm not looking to correct anything on this, I'm just looking to clean it. One thing the bike had was some cotton tape. This had been placed around all the bands, so the gear lever bosses, in the 3 top tube clips it had. So I carefully peeled that off this morning. And I've done a few little test areas just to see how it reacts to the cleaning products I use. And it's reacted really well. Some of the things I use are nail polish removing pads, and especially the ingredient I'm after in here is acetone. Acetone takes off all the gum that's been left by the cotton tape that's been around these tubes. But a word of warning, acetone is very strong and it will kill transfers. I use these pads if I've removed transfers because it takes off all the residue underneath. But I can't take transfers off with these pads, it's that strong. So use this on paintwork, but be very careful if you are anywhere near transfers that you want to keep because it will eat those transfers. The paint renovator I mentioned yesterday. I don't use it to renovate paint, but it's excellent for lifting dirt off paint. And this frame has excellent paint, it's just dirty. So the brilliance of the red paint is hidden behind a layer of dirt, and if you take that dirt off, that paint will shine through. I did a little small patch this morning, and there you go, you can see a dirty spot on that cloth just from rubbing the paint renovator into the frame. It doesn't take paint off, it's just a very mild cutting compound, but it's great at lifting dirt off. And once that dirt's out of the way, that paint shines through. You also have clean cloths. So once you've applied the renovator and you've pushed into all those scratches and all those little lug lines, you then use a nice clean soft cloth to polish that off. So these little pads, just circular little pads. What these do is, if I hold it carefully, they will remove any of the gum that's left by the tape that was wrapped around these tubes. A little bit of gum. So before I polish, renovate this frame, I'll just take off the last bits of the gum underneath here. And it is just a case of rubbing it over the gum, and the acetone breaks that down, leaving the paint intact. It doesn't take much, and it's excellent at its job. But again, don't get it near transfers. So I'm very close to the team transfer on the top tube here. I'm just making very sure I don't slip and come around the tube. because I don't want to damage that transfer at all. There. And that just ends up dirty and you just throw it away. Right, I did a little test area this morning with the paint renovator. It may be really difficult to see, but I did the rally transfer on the left hand side of this frame. Did some tube, did the transfer a little bit further down, and you can see how clean that eye is. It's lifted all the dirt off that transfer. The transfer was looking quite grey and grubby. The tube itself is looking now quite shiny. Haven't gone through to any base layers of paint. I haven't taken any paint off. It's just taken dirt off the top surface of that paint tube, and that allows the paint to shine through. I'm going to do the same now with the right hand side. This is grubby. The rally transfer is still dirty, still has a lot of muck over it. The tubes are quite dull and flat as well. Again, that's just dirt on top of the paint. So I'm going to use some paint renovator to take that off. I'm also going to have a look at all the dirt that exists around where the front derailleur was clamped on. I'm going to see how easily that lifts up as well. Best thing to do is to use bench vise. I'm going to do the right hand side of the frame. So clamp the bottom bracket shell, the faces of the bottom bracket shell. Make sure it's clamped at this side of the vise so I'm not anywhere near damaging the chain stays. They're well away from the jaws of the vise. Get my dirty cloth, find a clean bit. There you go, nice and clean. It's not a tidy job, it's very messy. You can get spots of paint renovator flung all over the place. But just get some on your cloth. It's just a case of very gently applying it to the tube. Now these transfers, there's no real edge to these transfers, so I'm quite happy just to rub over that in any direction. That transfer, the Campagnola one on the down tube, is a very different type of transfer. It has a definite edge. So when I'm cleaning that, I will want to push from the centre out over rather than from the outside in over, because all I'm going to do there is lift the edge of that transfer and damage that transfer. So on transfers where you can feel an edge, just push from the centre out over. These transfers, you can't really feel an edge on these. So go gently over them, but just give them a gentle rub, and that will take the dirt away. Bit more. So down here, incredibly dirty. Do have to be a bit more careful down here because these black and white bands are adhesive. So I'm going to try and clean round the tube rather than up and down the tube. Like that. So follow the direction of that transfer. Once I get to the middle section, I'm fine. There's no edge to these transfers, so I can give those a good clean, avoiding anywhere up here near the Reynolds transfer. Back down there. And you can start to see the dirt building up on that cloth. So again, nothing tricky about this, it's just using the right product and applying it carefully and paying consideration to where you are placing the renovator and how you're rubbing it onto the frame. Once you've given that area a good clean, and you've got loads of dirt on your cloth, switch to a clean cloth, and again just gently go over the same area. Again, it suits you. That area's fine. But this area with the black and white band, I'll just make sure I follow it around the tube. So, that transfer now is now sparkly white. The tube is really clean. There's no dirt left on that transfer. It matches the other side transfer. And also, down here, spotlessly clean. And you can actually start to see now some shine coming through. All that dirt is now on the cloth and not on the frame. I haven't damaged any transfers, especially this one, which is a stick-on transfer, but I followed it round the tube rather than brushing up and down it, because that will just lift the edges. Nice and clean. You can see the other side that I haven't touched still looks quite grubby and not as shiny. There's still lots of dirt around the back that I haven't cleaned yet. So what I'm going to do now is that brake bridge, which was incredibly filthy, and the wash I gave it didn't really lift much dirt off that. So we're going to do that. Again, back in the vise. Cloth again. There's no transfers here, so I'm not too concerned about rubbing anything in the wrong direction. So that just gets applied liberally all the way around that brake bridge. A little bit down the seat stairs, sorry. Now there's lots of little nooks and crannies on this brake bridge, so you need to be careful that you get the renovator pushed into all those little lines, both sides. On the back side too. Especially where the brake bridge meets the seat stairs, that join there gets incredibly dirty. On top there, where the centre bit of the brake bridge meets the side parts. Then underneath. I'm just trying to drag that in to all those areas where all these tubes might go together and meet, because that's where dirt just loves to hide. Get clean cloth again. Back in the vise. spotless. All that dirt's gone. I see a little bit left there. I usually do this process twice just so I can catch any area that I've missed in the first one, but that there is a very different brake bridge to what I had yesterday. And that what took a minute's work. Very clean, no dirt on there at all now. I haven't damaged any paint. All I've done is remove dirt and that paint just shines through. Same with, let's have a good view of this. The bottom bracket shell. The wash I gave didn't really affect any of this dirt because it's so hard and ingrained in. But again, we'll lift some of that. So this is the chain set side of the frame. So we'll have a look at that. Back to the dirty cloth, find a clean area. There you go. We'll see how much dirt comes off this. You really need to push that renovator into the sockets where the tubes meet the bottom bracket shell. It's probably the worst area of the frame to clean and to detail, because you've got all these tubes converging at the bottom bracket shell, the chain stays converging, all those areas, especially because it's where it is on the bike, just attract dirt like a magnet. I'm being very careful of this little fragile transfer down here. I don't try and mark that in my eagerness to clean this bike. Little short point of cloth just to get into that last little crevice. Nearly there. Clean cloth again. Right, so that's going to take a bit more work, but you can see the untouched side is filthy. The side I've just spent a minute cleaning is now sparkly clean. All the dirt from all those hard to reach areas are now gone. And that side of the bottom bracket shell looks much better than that side of the bottom bracket shell. And that's it. There's no real magic to it. It's just patience. I go over the whole frame with the dirty cloth. Careful on the transfers, especially some transfers. Paint renovator over everything. Beforehand, use the little acetone pads to get any gum off the frame. Work the paint renovator into all the different areas, push it in, scrape that dirt out. Doesn't damage the paint, you're just getting the dirt off the bike. Clean cloth, wipe it off, and then do the whole thing again, just to make sure that you're getting every single little bit of dirt off the bike. And hopefully when you're finished, you should have a spotlessly clean frame that's just ready now for a polish. So I've got stacks more to do on this. I've got all the areas around the back of the seat stays. I've got so much muck, even just built up on the back of that frame end there. All the muck along the top of the chainstay, muck underneath. While I'm on, I might just see if I can give that frame number a bit of a clean, because that's quite an important part of this bike, SB9. And so far, just hiding under so much dirt. When I unboxed this frame, I couldn't actually read the frame number without wiping off with my finger the whole layer of dust. However, there you go, nice and shiny. SB9. There's a little bit more work to get the paint renovator pushed into those really sharp, crisp stamps. But I'm happy with that. For a first go on camera for 20 minutes, this is going to look gorgeous when it's done. I'll do another video. I won't bore you with any more cleaning. It's really simple. You're just doing the same thing all over the frame, paying particular attention to all the lug lines and all the junctions that accumulate dirt. That's it. Nothing more to say. It's as easy as that. Okay, thank you very much.